In all of the classic Gothic horror stories, we see anxiety about female power, female sexuality. A mysterious stranger begins to take over the narrator. The vampire is a very lonely figure. She wants someone to be all hers, forever.
Why did you want to do this movie and play this character?
I heard Mary Harron was directing, and then when I spoke to her on the phone, she was talking about all this supernatural element that she wanted to bring to the vampire or to this story. I could not do it. She has such a great vision for her movies. When you see things like American Psycho, you sort of can't believe this sweet woman directed this movie, and it's so wonderful and magical, and that's what she brought to our movie. I jumped at the opportunity.
This is gonna be the best year ever.
I've missed you so much.
Of course, you must have thought a lot about what girl crushes are, because it's such a big part of the film. Like, how would you explain to somebody who doesn't understand girl crushes, what is a girl crush, and why is it so hard for people to understand it?
That relationship between Lucy and Rebecca, that best friends, holding hands, feeling safe with a girl's arms wrapped around you. I think it's safe rather than crush. It feels right because that's all they know. What they understand is each other. And being in that circle of your best friends and those girls that have seen you naked 100 times, and it just is what feels right at 16.
It's like she's invading my mind. You're really letting this whole Ernesta thing get to you.
She's turned you against me. You don't even want to know her.
She's my best friend. It's not fair.
I can't stand having you around me all the time, wanting me only for yourself.
Don't you see she has ruined everything for
And
me?
it also brings into play the whole dynamic of what's platonic and what's not.
Yeah.
And
what's love and what's possessiveness and what's ownership. Like this, you get this sense of her wanting to own Lucy, and again, I think that's something that is interesting in real human relationships, particularly in later in more developed like love relationships, of kind of possessiveness and ownership and the manipulative qualities that can come through.
It sometimes feels almost arbitrary what's platonic and what's not, and whatever platonic means.
I think that there's not a very clear line always between platonic and sexualized anyway, you know. I think that every kind of human relationship at whatever age and whatever sex is unique, and sometimes those boundaries are blurred anyway. So it's kind of just looking at a moment in time, but as I said, between kind of childhood and adulthood where it's particularly blurred, those boundaries.
There are 3 things you find in every vampire story: sex, blood, and death.
When I first read the book, I was taken back so intensely to my own teenage years and these very intense, passionate, romantic friendships that certainly young girls have. Maybe boys too, but I think that with girls, it's they're really love relationships. It's amazing when you watch young teenage girls together. They are so physical. They hang around in their underwear together. You know, there's a scene in the beginning of the film where Lucy's having a bath and Rebecca's in her underwear, and they're just lolling around together. And it's almost like kittens or something, but at the same time they're enjoying it, the physical intimacy, and it's romantic. And so it's very, very blurred. It's romantic, it's emotional, it's erotic, and we don't even know how to define it, which is why there's almost no films about it, actually.
You know, cooped up here, your girls get so close, all that emotion can turn toxic.